Hello my friends and welcome. This is Karina from KarinaWisdom.com and today is day 7 and please don't laugh at my Spanish. It's day 7. I think I'm going well with the Spanish thing. And what is so special about this today? Well, I started this journey 6 days ago and I've chosen the 7th day to be my reflect and project day. But before I get into the whole concept of that, let's talk about how I'm feeling. And I'm still feeling good. I'm about to have a meeting right now. Yes, a meeting for my business with me. It's important to have those meetings. Usually when I was in corporate, I would have a cup of coffee and a Danish. But I'm going all healthy on you right now. I'm having a cup of green tea and a banana. Yes, let's keep it all healthy and focused. So I'm feeling really good. I did my reflect and project, and when I looked back at all the work that I've done, I'm like, yeah, I had to give myself a pat on the back. But I'm going ahead of myself here. And let's really focus on the reflect and project. And this is where you review your targets and your aims, and then you project what to do from there. And why is reflecting and projecting important? Well, it's important because you need to know where you're coming from and if you actually met your targets and everything so that you can effectively move on instead of starting something new and not closing up the loose ends from the previous week. So it really keeps you current. And yes, I've been doing a lot of things to keep me focused and on track and current because your reflect and project is supposed to tie you back in to your overall 90-day plan. Well, I didn't really have my 90-day plan ready for last week. So last week I just set some goals. On day 1, I had some goals, which I share with you later. And now that I have my 90-day plan, I know I can be more focused in whatever action I take this week. And my next reflect and project, I can compare that if everything I did that week rolls up into my overall 30-day plan, which is stage 1 or the build, or I would call that $0 to $100 in 30 days. So I had some targets based off my DMO. And for last week, they were to write 6 blog posts, to do 6 videos, to have 6 pages added to my value funnel, and that's my autoresponder series. Like when you enter your email, you'll see those pages come up. And also 6 pages for my top menu. When you visit a site and you see those little words in the top of the menu, that's a top menu. Then I also had my overall target of 10 persons visiting the site to have 1 link back into the site. And what that means is when you have 1 link back into the site, meaning that there's another site that referred your site. And you want that because the Google really loves when another site talks about you and also when you talk about other sites. So you shouldn't just be talking about yourself. And I also had a target of my Alexa ranking jumping by 100K. What is an Alexa ranking? Okay, let's put it this way. You have all the websites in the entire world. And Alexa ranking ranks them from number 1 all the way down. I think in Alexa, Google is number 1, google.com, and number 2 is facebook.com. When it comes to every single website in the world, number 1 is Google, number 2 is Facebook. So you can imagine where my site falls, very, very low, since I'm just starting out. But it won't be low for very long because I have some plans and ideas and strategies that I'm going to put in place to change that. So I'm just going to give you a quick high-level overview of what was done last week. So I integrated the opt-in box in my sidebar and into the individual blog posts. So when you go onto KarinaWisdom.com and you look in the sidebar where you see this nice yellow box where it says put your email and click give me access. And while you're looking at that, why don't you just put your email in and click give me access, and then you'll see the pages that I created. That is the opt-in box. Then I created a list for my autoresponder. And you have to do that in order for when people enter their names and email, that you can collect it so that you can get messages from them whenever anything new is happening. So if you jump onto my list, then I'll send you these daily updates that I'm doing of my journey, plus you get insider, and I mean like secret insider access to everything in detail. So jump over there and enter your email. I also registered on some blog directories and content curators. And the reason why I did that was that I was working so hard to get that one link back to my site. Man! And it didn't happen. So this week I'm going to be so focused on researching ways to get that one link back. And once I figure it out, I'll definitely share it with you. I also made my blog look pretty, and I have to admit I spent a lot of time doing that, so definitely this week I think it's pretty enough. I should not spend any more time making the blog look pretty. It looks good right now, so I'm not going to touch it. The other thing I did was I integrated social media onto my blog. So if you go onto my blog and you look in the sidebar, you see these social media buttons like for YouTube, Facebook fan page, for Twitter, and then I also have one which is my RSS feed, and that is just the syndication of my blog, meaning that if you go and you click on the RSS feed and you add it to your bookmark, anytime I post anything on my blog, you'll get a notification. So that's a pretty good way to keep updated with what's going on my blog. I also opened 4 social media accounts, which means I opened a Facebook page, Google Plus page, Yahoo page, and a Twitter page. And I added 1 page to my value funnel, which you'll see when you enter your email. It's a welcome message that says, welcome. And to top it all off, I watched some training videos. I had some training sessions with my coaches. And when I Googled my site, I saw that I had 15 pages on my site. And I think I did 2 of them last week. So it's really this week my site grew by 13 pages. And why does that matter? Well, the more pages you have, the bigger your footprint is on the internet, the more Google will see you. That is the bottom line. So that's why it's so important to blog daily, blog daily, blog daily. Get content out there daily because you're making your site bigger. That's 300. At the end of the year, that's 300. At the end of the year, that's 365 pieces of content. That's a pretty decent sized site. So blog and add content daily. The bigger your footprint, the more the search engines love to send traffic your way, because then you have content that will keep people busy for days. Hello, and you want people visiting your site. So I mentioned my targets, and here are the results. I actually had 9 visits on my blog. Well, I actually had 13 visits on my blog, but I knew who those other 4 persons were, so I checked it out. One was me, and I had 3 other friends that checked out my blog. So I only had 9 people visit my blog, which is good. 9 out of 10 is a good number. I'm happy. And then the Alexa ranking, where, as I told you, Google is number 1, Facebook is number 2. Well, are you ready for my ranking? Are you sure? Are you sitting down? It's low. But I've seen it lower, but it's still low. Here's my ranking. It's 8. No, I haven't gotten to number 8 in all the websites in Alexa. It's actually 8,489,053. And I wanted to move up by 100K, which would make me 8,389,000. But here is the awesome thing. Just from all the activity that I've been doing with my site this week, it jumped to 2,290,453. That's a 6,269,600 move up the ranks. And that's like totally amazing. I love it. And as I mentioned before, I didn't have any sites linking back in, but that will be remedied this week for sure. Now, looking back on this week's performance, I think I should give myself a pat on the back. So I did give myself a pat on the back when I started the show earlier, so I'm going to give myself another pat on the back. And like, yay, Karina, you're awesome. You need to celebrate your successes. You do, and that's the importance of the reflect and project. Because if you are constantly doing things every day and you're not looking back at your progress, number one, you won't know if you're making progress. Number two, you won't know if you're heading in the right direction or if you need to change something so that you can improve your targets. And number three, it feels like you're working for nothing. So just taking the moment to reflect and look back at what you're doing puts you in a position that, okay, I know where I need to improve for next week and what I need to change. Now, one of the things that this process also does is it helps you to avoid the gap. So if I can use myself as an example about the gap. Okay, so I am here right now. You just heard my results of what I did. Of course, I had an ideal in my mind. I was pushing to get those 10 visits to my site. Even though my site was under construction, I was still pushing to get those 10 visits to my site. And that was the ideal. And I was thinking I would actually get more than 10, like 15 or 20, because I'm an overachiever. So I would have actually loved to set 20, but then I set 10. What the gap is when I looked back, I only got 9. And the gap is a space between where you are right now and your ideal. And my ideal is 20. And if I'm looking at my ideal, I'll end up falling in the gap. Meaning, I end up feeling like I didn't do enough. I would not recognize my success. And then I'll end up feeling discouraged because I didn't make it to the ideal. The best place for you to do is to look at where you're coming from to where you are. Because where I'm coming from, I only had 1 visit to my blog. And guess who that was? Yep, that was me. Actually, I had 2. It was me and my accountability partner, so that didn't count. So really, it was 0 visit to my blog when I had day 1. And now I have 9. When I checked today, I had 9 persons in the last 6 days that visited my blog. Now, when you're looking from where you are coming from to where you are, you put yourself in a better position. You don't feel as discouraged because you recognize what you did. And it motivates you to do more. So always recognize where you're coming from to where you are, because that's how you know how you're making progress. You can't really measure where you are to where you're going. As I mentioned before, what you focus on expands, so focus on your successes. Now, despite registering the blog in directories and on content curators, I still did not get a link back to my site. And as I mentioned, I'll be doing a lot of research to push for that to change this coming week. I also modified my DMO to only include posting content. So this is what my DMO is going to look like, because before, my DMO last week included posting content plus adding pages. Now my DMO is going to consist of only posting content and a couple of other things. So here's my daily method of operation for this week. I'm going to be posting 1 blog, post 1 video on YouTube. I'm also going to be watching a motivational video, and I'm going to be curating my content daily, because it's awesome to create this wonderful, amazing content. However, people need to see it. And in the beginning, you probably have to do some legwork to get it out. So I'll be doing some legwork to get this content out this week. And the results from that would be that I will get more visits to my blog and some links back. And that's what I'm pushing for. So the big, hold on, let me take a sip of green tea. Okay, that was good. So the big focus for next week is to get my value funnel up and complete. You see, last week I was planning to do my value funnel each day as a part of my DMO. This week I'm planning to do my value funnel as a part of a special project. You're like, Karina, what's the difference? Well, I don't know what the difference is as yet, but it feels different to me. So I'm hoping that when I look at it as a special project, it will actually get done. But then I've cleared a lot of other things off the plate as well. Number two, my blog looks pretty, so I won't spend much time worrying about making my blog look more pretty. I finally embedded the opt-in form into my blog, so I don't have to worry about doing that. So that actually clears up some time for me to focus on building my value funnel. So, what are my targets for next week? I didn't mention my targets based on my DMO. I actually got done 6 blog posts. I got 6 videos done. I only added 1 page to my value funnel, and I added 2 pages to my top menu, meaning that I added information on 2 pages for my top menu. And you saw my welcome message for my value funnel. Now, what are my targets for next week? So next week, my target is to move up Alexa ranking by 500K. I know that is a challenge, and you might be like, but Karina, you moved 6 million. Is 500K nothing? Well, here's the thing with the Alexa ranking. The further up you move in the ranks, the harder it is. So that's why I've put it at 500K. I'm also planning to get 2 sites linking back to my blog. So the one I should have gotten last week and one for this week. So get 2 sites linking back. And I also plan to get 20 visits to my site this week, not including my friends, of course. It's super important to have some sort of metrics to measure your success as you go along in your goal. You have to measure your success. And successful people know their numbers. Super successful people know their numbers every day. So every day I'm checking how many persons are visiting my blog and where I am in the Alexa ranking, and also if there are any sites linking back. Because with that as my focus, then I know what I need to do each day as a big push to make sure I'm meeting my target. So the message was very long today, even though you heard my progress. This is like a progress report. Oh, yay! And the most important points are to reflect and project. Look at where you're coming from and project setting new targets for the next week. Also have your big focus. What are 3 things that you can do during the week, upcoming week, that will bring you closer towards your goal? Number 3, have some form of metrics that you can sit down and monitor every day. Because if you keep your metrics at the forefront of your mind, then you'll find yourself doing everything possible to achieve and exceed your targets. Remember, you can jump over to my site and you can see the did sheet for today. That's an outline of what exactly I have accomplished for today. While you're over there, if you haven't done so already, just plug your email in and click Give Me Access Now, and you'll get onto my list and you'll see everything else that I'm doing. You'll actually get in-depth detail access to what I'm doing, while on the daily blogs you're only getting an overview. So if you want to really get the nitty-gritty, just jump onto my list. While you're on this video, click subscribe to my channel so you always receive my latest video, and click like to this video. Well, thank you, my friends, for allowing me to share this information with you. This is Karina from KarinaWisdom.com signing off. Boom.